this idea, HRC and this whole gay marriage, and that's part of the issue, right? So when you talk about black people and you talk about whatever you want to use, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, S, G, L, whatever, when you talk about black people in that context, HRC, the GLAAD, the task force, all these organizations have traditionally never been concerned with black people's issues, right? So for them, when you talk about how it's been a white male-led organization, white male-led movement, you have to remember, for them, the last thing that they needed to feel complete, because they already have the jobs, the homes, the wealth, and everything else, was always marriage, right? But as black people, we continue to struggle with making sure our kids can get into school, making sure we can get a job, making sure we have some place to live. And as a movement, the gay and lesbian movement, whatever you want to call it, they have never traditionally looked at all of those issues. They've only always focused on what their immediate ceiling was, right?
In fact,
ceiling has been marriage.
Right. First of all, Jasmine.
And that's why the focus has always been on marriage. And so at some point hopefully, I mean, it's been, for me, I know, Cleo, you've been in this movement a lot longer than me. I'm 38. I've been doing this probably 15 years. They've never been able to shift from that. They've never been able to move from, marriage. And if they want to bring in more black people, if they want to bring in more people of color, they need to start addressing other issues that also contribute to our quality of life.
Real quick here, first of all, last year, Black Youth Project 100 released a survey on that. We actually had them on the show. If you go to go to my YouTube channel, you actually see the interview. Well, just what Jasmine said, they said, look, y'all care about marriage. They said, we don't care about marriage. These are our issues over here. Angela, you want to respond to something Cleo said?
Well, for example, I think that, Cleo's point was that there is not a push within, black LGBT folks or same-gender loving folks to build community, not with each other, and also with folks who don't identify as gay or lesbian in the black community. And I think that that's actually not true. That's not my experience, and that's also not where I see change happening. The reality is what it means for us to engage our folks looks different than it does for white folks to be pushing for their family and their friends. For a lot of white people, what they needed to do was to come out. All they needed to do was just come out for gay and lesbian, and that was the thing that kind of was supposed to be winning hearts and minds. For our community and our families, a lot of folks, they already know. It's sort of an unspoken thing, and that may be what is most comfortable or what it makes the most sense for that family and that community. What it looks like for us to stand up for each other doesn't look the same as I think that it does in the white community, and that's okay. But what we need to make sure that we're recognizing is that when you see gay and lesbian and transgender and queer folks leading in organizations like Color of Change, leading in organizations like Now or women's organizations, you need to recognize that is our work. That is us moving our community forward.
Cleo, 1 second. Cleo, 1 second. Cleo, 1 second. I got to go to Drew and get Drew and Andrew in here. Drew, here's what I find to be interesting. If Michael Sam came out and said in that article that the homophobia that he is up against in the black community is unbearable.
Yeah.
You cannot convince me there would not have been segments yesterday on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, the BBC, NPR. But when he says I face more racism in the LGBT community than I have black homophobia, it's amazing how I think this is the only show in my radio show that actually talked about it.
Exactly. Right. You know what? I think one thing that it exposes, even the fact that it is virtually, except for your show, not evident or no one's talking about it, is because it just exposes the inherent racism that is built and part of the fabric of this country. And that no matter what, even in every other movement, the women's rights movement, any kind of movement, I am black first. Yes. And I will always be black first, and somebody who is Latina will be Latino first, because while we keep talking about we want to be a colorblind, don't negate my color. I am proud to be a black person.
My color, my issues.
Yes, and my color is my issues. Because
hold on, Cleo.
Even in the movement, when I think about equal pay, even though white women are the ones that's getting the 75 cents, black women are still below that. And so even in these movements that they want us to be a part of, and I will go back to Patricia Arquette was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, at the Oscars.
At the Oscars, when she said, and she spoke the conscience of the movement. She said, we done everything we could for black folks. We didn't help gay folks. We didn't help whatever. But now it's our time. Who is our? I mean, if you're talking about women's month, I am a woman, but I'm black first.
Andrew, real quick, then I'm going to go to Noel, then Cleo.
My only point in this is it just seems that every movement jumps on black folk and jumps on black accomplishment and black achievement.
Including the
rights.
Republican Party, brother.
I mean, I said everybody. I said
everybody. I mean, that's right. You're right.
This is illustrative because, I mean, we think, Republicans are so racist. It's everywhere. It is the power structure, and basically the rights are not afforded.
Noel.
Yeah, I just wanted to underscore Angela's point around, I think there are black LGBT, SGL people like myself and Angela and others who are in BIP 100 or the National Black Justice Coalition who are redefining new ways of being both black and gay and existing in that intersection and making that central to the work that we do, whether that's in and among black people, whether that's in and among sort of interracial communities. I think there's a whole generation, a new crop of people who are picking up the mantle of the Bayard Rustins of the world who sort of say, like, no longer will we tolerate this sort of binary, but rather we're going to live in our truth and all of our truth, and that police brutality is an LGBT issue, that HIV is an LGBT issue, and that is just as much a black issue as it is an LGBT issue.
Kickstart your day at 7 and get the news you need from the perspective you want. NewsOne Now with Roland Martin every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.